Alrighty then, overdue workshop update, but there's been quite a lot going on, as I'm sure you can tell. So let me explain, I'll give you a quick walkthrough. As you know, we've been reorganizing the back of the workshop, and part of it is what to do with these large body panels, amongst other things. So things like the crash bars over here, subframes, bits of the radio box, crash bars up the front, but most importantly, these larger body panels. They've come up with the solution. That's the reason they're pulled out from the back of the workshop. And what we've done at the back of the workshop, many thanks, Jake, for all of your help as well. So Jake has been volunteering around here. This is more body panels. Is we have pulled the thing apart, more body panels. So this is the problem. So let me take you for a quick walk up the back of the workshop and show you what's going on. So, as you can see, there is more floor now currently visible. And if you look down here, this is what the end state of things is going to be. Each one of those containers is labeled, most importantly, and contains one thing. So, for example, this says sumps. Excuse the bad handwriting. There are indeed sumps in there. This one has clutch covers. There are indeed clutch covers in there. So, essentially, it's what I had hoped I'd be able to do when we moved into this building last April. But, you know, with the daily turn and churn of getting the bikes finished and pushing stuff out the door, that didn't happen. So we're doing a bit of it now. And this is in response to the big delivery of parts that I got from Queensland and also the recent very big delivery of parts from Victoria. So this is the preliminary sorting. So things like all the forks and fork-related bits, things like headlight ears that go around the forks, are all now in the one place. Everything is labeled and sorted. We've run out of boxes, actually run out of these, so there is quite a lot of stuff. We now have, for example, all the petrol tanks here. Same thing, they're only labeled on one side here, and it's still a bit of a mix, but the intention is that all of these two rows, here and here, apologies for the noise next door, and a portion of this are all Kawasaki. So we will be able to identify a row. It will be this row. We're looking for mud guards. It'll be there. It'll be in the Kawasaki row, happy days, right? The same will be true of all the BMW stuff. So BMW police box, panniers, all these sorts of things, they'll be over here. Similarly for all the Yamaha stuff, and we're getting to the point where Yamaha is now starting to get organized, even though it may not look like it, it really is. Trust me on that one. Honda stuff is now being organized into big buckets. The Yamaha stuff is over here. So the intention is, more Yamaha stuff there. The intention is that as we've done with the radios, so all of this stuff, this whole shelf, essentially these three shelves here are all radios. All of the Yamaha components, so you can see here, Yamaha indicators, the non-LED style. Yamaha indicators, the LED style. Yamaha wiring harnesses with support for LED right there. The non-LED versions are there, so on and so forth. We're then able to sort all of these things into their logical groupings, and then it becomes super easy to put stuff together. So for example, Yamaha seats, Yamaha radio boxes, Honda police stuff, Kawasaki bodywork, Honda panniers, that sort of thing. They're just kind of all higgledy-piggledy. So that is the intention, and that is what's been happening. We're actually probably only about a day or so from being, I know it doesn't look like it, but a day or so from being completely organized in terms of all of these major pieces. So things like this, radio box parts, brake levers, Yamaha crash bars, brake torsion bars, gauges, instrument clusters, all these sorts of things being placed into boxes in logical groups, mirrors and horns, you know, that kind of thing, right? So the other components in here, things like the ignition system, you know, starters, so the ignition and spark plugs will go with the starters, and that kind of stuff. The world's largest collection of bolts, axles, spacers, mounting brackets, etc., etc., etc. All of the covers here and the plastics are all going to go together. So basically you're going to see all of this cleaned off and replaced by buckets that are either 100 litres or buckets that are 80 litres for the stuff that is probably heavier and needs a bit more durable storage. The other thing, I think just generally speaking, which has been problematic for a while, is the electronics. So things like points and generators or exciter coils, those sorts of things, scraps of wiring that are brand specific. So believe it or not, and you'll have to take my word for this, I can sort of tell what goes with what. So orange wires like this, yellow wires like that, all these sorts of things, the minutiae sort of give themselves away. So to the trained eye, and I like to think that my eye is trained, we need a way to separate the model specific or even manufacturer specific wiring. Say Kawasaki needs to be separated from Honda, which in turn needs to be separated from BMW. So I'm still working on that kind of gradation, but we are making pretty good progress here. So I think by the end of the week, you'll see the pallet racking a lot more organized. The logical groupings, again, you know, this is Honda, that's Honda, that's Honda. They don't need to be here. This is all Kawasaki. But where we are really making progress, and hence the reason for the video update, is being able to look down a line and say, eventually, all of my wheels, front and rear wheels, and associated componentry, including tires, are all right here. And I know they're here. Temporary holding space for that front hub. But you get the impression, rightly so, that we finally have a system in here whereby we can just point to a row and know 100% if we have a wheel, a rim, or a wheel component, a hub or something like that, it's going to be here. It'll be along this lower shelf. And the same thing will be true with the panniers, the radio boxes, all the rest of it. We will get there. So the intention as a final observation with all of the bolts, washers, all the rest of it is, believe it or not, there are differences between Honda bolts and Yamaha bolts, and differences again between Suzuki bolts and Kawasaki bolts, and then there are just generic bolts. There's a pile of them over there. So the first course, which is why you've seen this for so long, the first course is to figure out what type of bolt they are. In this case, it's just a hex head Kawasaki bolt, and find containers to store all the hex head Kawasaki bolts together. And then do the same thing for the Honda stuff, same thing for everything else. We've started that process by organizing them into Ziploc bags. Obviously that's not ideal, they're not very durable, but it does give us a way to visually grade stuff. So all of these things, again, thank you, Jake, for helping to get all this sorted. We're able to visually grade all these sorts of things, and we'll be doing the same with this, and then consolidating all the like items into what will hopefully be one of the rolling parts bins rack, like a Dexion style system. They're essentially just smaller versions of these that sit on a louvered frame that's on wheels, and that way we can store all of the fastenings in something that can roll around the workshop. The final update I'm going to offer as well, just around generally this kind of area, which you've seen. We now have a engine and precision work area over here. All of these bike frames, the engines and all the rest of it, including that bike, will be moving to populate these spaces down here, right the way up to and possibly including that area right there. So that's the goal. Obviously all of this stuff will get put away, petrol tanks and so on and so forth will all get put away, as will all of these items. It's just a work in progress. So the intention is also that no customer will be able to pass basically where the lights, where the switch is on the wall. This will be blocked off and stop people walking past this. They can obviously access the little kitchenette area and the toilet. But from this side forward, Everything you see here will be organized. Stuff will be lined up against the wall. If it's a bike, that even a rolling bike, just a chassis with wheels, will be on this side, and all of the componentry will be on pallet racking. So there you go. It's been a crazy couple of weeks since we got the shipment in. We are making really good progress, as witnessed by the last two sections of pallet racking. There's a bit more to come. It is home stretches for that stuff, and overall it feels much better. The flow is beginning to emerge from this, and by flow I mean the sort of rhythm that goes behind disassembling, evaluating, reassembling, and then producing finally a finished bike. So there you go, quick update, lots more to come. Hope everybody's well, and I'll catch you in the next video.